Okay. Before we begin, let's spend a few moments quietly together. Good evening. And welcome to everyone who's joining us on the internet. Tonight we won't be going into the book. Tonight it's just you and me. A family get-together, I guess you could say. One in which I need to be very practical and very straightforward. And it's a good learning for everyone. Because doing the two-step, engaging in the holy instant, is not just a wonderful spiritual activity full of bliss and perhaps not too much groundedness. No, it's, as you will find, as those of you who have engaged in it have found, is very grounded, very practical. Where the ideal is translated into the real. Where transformation, correction is manifest. manifest in a manner that could be recorded with a video camera or a microphone or observation. Not just an up in the head fairy tale bliss. It's important for everyone to know this, because what I am sharing with you is something that you can take into your experience and your connection with your guide and get right down to brass tacks. Get down to the nitty-gritty. Get down to the needs. And find them successfully addressed, because that's what you took into the holy instant with you. That's what you practiced the two-step about. There isn't going to be any world of harmony. There isn't going to be any world of united countries without very practical nitty-gritty changes taking place. And those nitty-gritty changes aren't going to take place if everyone is on some holy bender, if you will, imbibing the spiritual juices that give you a high and a sense of bliss, no matter how rugged everything is. It's not intelligent. It's not reasonable. It's not practical. It's nothing to be embraced, not even casually. The world needs changing. Why? Because the world as it is at the moment is not the way God is being it at this moment, but it is the way people are being in it, behaving as orphans, behaving as those who have no father, no divine source, and nothing in them that is built, you might say, that is created to express love and harmony and integrity and divinity. So, the changes that are going to occur in the world are going to come from those like you who are willing to take your attention in the moment you're in, relative to the things that are going on in the moment you're in, and moving into the holy instant, doing the two-step. And as someone said the other day, not doing the sidestep. Now, I'm going to be very practical here, and this is the bottom line of what I need to share with everyone tonight. You all, and this is said with no arrogance, I'm saying it because it is my task. All of you need to hear what I have to say. Because I am sharing that which will promote the united world that I'm talking about. What I'm sharing is what will promote awakening, where every brother and sister comes into a conscious realization and experience of his or her divinity, no longer imagining that he or she is alone, isolated, suffering from independence. Now, Paul and Susan have, since 1982, devoted their attention to this work with me It is their pleasure, it is their gift, it is what is important to them. And although their egos have gotten in the way from time to time, they have dishonored their egos enough to come back to me and allow correction to occur, and have steadfastly remained, I'm going to say dutifully, or with wonderful commitment, to the work that I'm doing with them, through their efforts, through their willingness. Now, you need to hear me. I need Paul to hear me. I need Paul and Susan not to be distracted from their devotion. And their devotion is to the truth as I'm expressing it. I need them to be able to reasonably be in their peace. Now, as many of you may know, day before yesterday I sent out a letter to everyone on the Foundation's email list, and I know it has been shared further than that. In it, I shared the fact that support for this work, monetary support, dollars and cents financial support, has been dwindling. And since the new property was purchased, the contributions have suddenly dropped before the work could be completed to allow for the transfer to the new property to occur fully, and in order for the old property to be refurbished, ready for sale. Now, they are transitioning to the new property and bringing the work to the new property at my direction, not at their wish. In fact, there are strong feelings of a desire to be able to remain at the old property, and a wondering why it's essential to move to the new property. So it's not willfulness on their part or their choice, but they have seriously asked, quietly, in the stillness of their being, over and over and over, for almost a full year now, they have asked, what next? What do we need to know now? What is the next step? What do we do to implement it? How do we have such an impossible thing happen? And on and on and on, patiently, persistently, willingly, and they have hung in there until they've heard the answer from me, and then they have taken each step. They are in this new residence because this is where fulfillment of purpose is happening. This is where I know fulfillment of purpose is happening, even if Paul and Susan are not positive. There is a reason for being here. There are those on the mailing list who wonder, why do they need such a big house? Why do they need such an expensive house? And on and on and on. It doesn't have anything to do with needing a big house or an expensive house. It has to do with fulfillment of purpose and where it's happening and how to be in harmony with it so that blessing occurs that is called for and that is coming forth. There's reason for this work to be done in this particular location. And I will not go into it with Sue or Paul or you or anyone else at this time. But I will stand firmly in sharing with you the fact that there is perfect order to it. It is requiring Paul and Sue, despite the slim pocketbook, to listen for that which is beyond their present level of comfort, that which is beyond their present knowing. There is a call for them to listen more deeply than before, because there is more to be shared that is more significant than before. I need their attention. I need their peace, so that they can listen, which is what they want to do. They don't want to get up every day and get in the car and go to the post office and see if there are any contributions and then take them to the bank and make a deposit and then ask me, how do we disperse the little that we have so that forward movement can occur? I need their attention. I need the attention they want to give to me. And you need them to be able to give me their attention. Because when they do, everyone is blessed. Everyone learns something. Everyone is able to take a step forward a little further than before. And the simple fact is that little steps, tiny steps, careful steps, self-protective steps that don't upset things too much are not appropriate anymore. It's time. It's time to begin waking up. It's time for these changes to occur in the world. And you say, oh, these changes are going to take centuries. No. All it takes is an idea expressed in a way that can be recognized expressed in a way that its value appears to be valuable, so that the one it's presented to, who would never in his life have considered it, will spontaneously embrace it, have an aha experience, and have all of the resistance disappear. It can be somebody in government. It can be somebody nowhere, out in nowhere, in internet land, who simply posts a little message that catches the attention, and the idea moves like wildfire. And suddenly, those who were enemies are willing to work together, just because it's the obvious thing to do, even though a week ago it was obvious that such a thing couldn't possibly happen. Why? Because vengeance is being held on the past, and it's being applied to the present in order to get even for the past. And we're going to be talking about that. Not tonight. Now, there are those who have suggested that if indeed I'm Jesus, why don't I just wave my hand and have gold coins appear on the table in front of Paul and Susan? would take care of their situation and allow them to experience their peace. Well, you know what? That is what I'm doing right now. I'm waving my hand. And in the wave of my hand and the use of my voice, I'm involving everyone who's hearing it. I am causing something to happen. The thing is that instead of the manipulation of gold, a metallic substance, it's a manipulation of your mind. It's a manipulation of your capacity to see something that you hadn't seen, so that that which did not seem reasonable to you can seem reasonable. Waking up is about abandoning isolation. Isolation from your father, mother, God, and isolation from your brothers and sisters. And what I am promoting here is the breakdown of isolation between brothers and sisters, so that each of you act in a way that blesses each other. And that includes blessing Paul and Susan, because their blessing blesses you. They are part of the movement that you are a part of. How come they're always asking for money? How come you don't have a spontaneous, joyous response that says, I want to help? Whether you're called upon to help or not, why isn't that the response? Now, I've said it before. Those of you who are hearing my voice or reading my words, however it might be at the moment, you are the ones who value what you're reading or hearing, and you're the ones who know that it's worth other people having available to them. Therefore, it falls upon you to become involved. And as the saying goes, put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your commitment is. Put your money where your valuing is, because you love your brothers and you love your sisters. And you want to find a way to be involved with each other and break the isolationism. In other words, what I'm presenting to you here is that rather than having a foundation that charges for everything they do, I have set up a foundation that makes a gift of everything and operates on the basis of gifting being returned as an expression of gratitude, as an expression of love, as a willingness to participate in that which extends the message and allows it to continue. You see? The way it works simply doesn't allow for isolationism. It doesn't allow for privacy. It calls for involvement, the abandonment of privacy. It involves what's involved in the two-step and the practice of the holy instant. Now, I am aware that those who have contributed have contributed as much as they could, because they really do care about the work. I am not asking anyone to do what they cannot do. But you know what? There are those of you listening, watching, reading, who have been valuing the work for some time, who are quite capable of providing the support that will allow the transition to be completed and for the old property to be refurbished and sold, and for the constant trips to the post office and the bank to come to an end, and Paul and Susan can return to a more, let's say, a less hectic daily process in which it's much easier to be in their peace. Mind you, as I've said before, since 1982, they have lived with an invisible means of support. You see, not controllable, not there where you can put your finger on it. And they've done this since 1982. And they have learned how to be in their peace, living on the basis of trust and listening and the receipt of guidance. Most of you would not find yourself able at this moment to experience that degree of peace with no visible means of support, ongoingly, confronting needs, emergencies, whatever, as they have arrived. It will be your blessing to arrive at a point where you can, because circumstances will govern you less and less, and guidance will be accepted by you more easily. Now, out of love and respect for Paul and Sue, I must say that the level of invisibility of their income is more than it's necessary for them to have to cope with and maintain their peace in. Because it's not the result of a lack on their part. It's not a result of their inattentiveness, of not having their attention in the right place. It's a result of the family, if I may put it that way. It's a matter of everyone involved in this work who finds it so valuable not being grounded enough to recognize the practical need, and not listening enough to find that their reluctance to abundantly support is one of the things they're at the threshold of being corrected upon, being corrected about, where a shift will occur in which the willingness to support abundantly, not just the foundation or Paul and Sue, but in other parts of the family where support is needed. And the tendency is to think, oh, well, that's not my responsibility. Oh, if they had handled their situation differently, they wouldn't do it, they wouldn't need it, so therefore it's not appropriate. You see, it's a time for a shift where the first thing that occurs is, I would love to be able to support this. I would love to be able to actually have the specific thing needed, dollars and cents, object, attention, whatever it might be. I wish to be abundant enough to be able to be present for another without reservation, whether I'm called upon to do it or not. Just being willing to do it doesn't mean you're called upon to do it. But let's awaken that in each of you which spontaneously loves and initially, in every case, wants to find a way to witness for and on behalf of your brother, your sister, your country, another country, etc. You know, Paul and Susan will persist. Whether support is meager or abundant, they will find ways to do the two-step and to practice the holy instant and to move in their peace, no matter how unreasonable the circumstances might be. And of course, that's what Paul has been doing this evening. And so, the situation isn't going to remain imbalanced. But it's important for every one of you who's participating in and appreciating the work that Paul, Susan, and I, and Chris, and those who help bring forth. It's time for you to accept the very practical, down-to-earth, grounded place you have in it. And instead of grousing about it, or feeling put upon, or demanded to do the impossible, take it as the opportunity to find out how much more there is of you, how much more love there is in you, and how great a capacity you have to give without feeling impoverished or without dreading impoverishment. So, there is a real need. For all practical purposes, there will need to be at least $30,000 to finish the transition and sell the old property. It's just what it takes. It's just what it takes for Paul and Susan and the work to be where I recognize it needs to be done. I think I've been very clear. And I have been clear in a way that hasn't insulted anyone, while at the same time causing some self-examination to occur, not to see what's wrong with you, but to see where a greater capacity to be in harmony with the right is. So that you might support it and make a difference where it counts for you, where it counts for me. As the saying goes, a word to the wise is sufficient. I love you all. I love you all. And I look forward to being with you next time.